Hey guys, it's Goff, and in this video, you'll learn 5 strategies that will help you close more deals. Now, these strategies are personal, real life lessons that I've learned over the last 20 years. And if you apply them, I know they will help you become a better real estate investor, real estate agent, or even a business owner. The most important thing I've learned about negotiating is you have to be a quick thinker, thinking on top of your feet, because it's almost impossible to know exactly what the seller is going to say. And when you respond quickly in a professional manner, you will build trust. And trust is the first thing to establish with the seller. And when you build trust, you'll be able to manage different situations, solve problems, and create win-win solutions that will make it hard for the seller to say no, ultimately getting more yeses and closing more deals. So let's jump in. Strategy number 1, people buy people first. People buy you first. You could sell them your ideas, products, and services. Your story is one of the most important pieces to the puzzle. This is one of the most important lessons, and it took me years to figure it out. Let me give you 4 steps. The first one is don't lead with your service. So you should lead with your experience and excitement for your service. Anytime you lead with your service, people will put up their shield because nobody wants to be sold. They want solutions. But people need to understand who you are so they'll listen to you. Number 2, show people how your service works. I want you to make it easier for people to see your service in action. What I like to do is give them what I call a special report. And in this report, it'll explain all the details of how I can buy their home. And I'll give one example of how the numbers could look. This gives the seller the opportunity to understand what it is that you do. And at that point, they can decide if it's right for them. You can find this special report in REI Pro in your business center. Number 3, tell people about a previous client's problem. So talk about the problems they had and how you solved it. This is a great way to show the seller that you have done what you're saying that you can do for them, and this will help you build trust. Show people the benefits that solve a problem. So help people solve their problem by mentioning 4 or 5 benefits. If you're a real estate investor, some of those benefits could include that you could pay all cash, you could pay for closing, you don't have to fix anything, and highlight your ability to close fast. Strategy number 2, communication skills. I want you to make a great first impression. So at some point, you're going to have to go talk to the owner, right? You're going to have to meet them face to face, most likely, unless, of course, they live out of town. Most of the time, you're probably going to meet with the seller. So the very first thing I want you to do is be on time. Now, you should arrive at the property really early because I want you to check out the neighborhood. I want you to drive around. You might find more properties. I want you to see what's going on in the neighborhood. Do you hear kids playing down the street? Do you see a railroad track behind the house? I want you to just kind of get familiar with the neighborhood, so you should be on time. Be yourself, be at ease. So if you're just getting started in real estate, I know it can be very difficult. You're probably stressed out, a little bit of fear when you're going in, not sure what the seller's going to ask you and all that stuff. But you just need to be at ease. Appearance, right? I mean, in real estate, you have to be good looking or this business is never going to work, right? No, I'm just kidding. But obviously, you want to dress the part, right? So if you live in Manhattan, New York, then you might want to dress up, in a suit and tie. But if you're in Birmingham, Alabama, you might be wearing nice blue jeans and a nice polo shirt. So just be cautious of you don't want to show up in a Lamborghini, right? So obviously you have too much money and the seller's going to want a ton of money from you. They're going to be a little bit intimidated. So I want you to just kind of dress the part. What is common in your area? A winning smile. They say in the camera business, smile through your eyes. I don't know, there's just something about your eyes, but obviously you want to smile. It makes you more approachable when you smile. So be sure, just think about that, as you ring the doorbell, smile just before and just kind of hold it and wait till they answer the door. Small talk goes a long way, right? So talk about something other than real estate. Talk about the weather, talk about a sports team, just talk about something other than the house. I think it's going to make everybody feel a lot more comfortable. And be positive and be courteous, obviously. Some basic things here, but I think, that first impression is really going to set this deal, one way or it's going to go the other way. So just be sure to take in some of these bullet points. I know that it may sound simple, but work on it. Look at yourself. Make sure you are smiling. There's a lot of times you think you might be smiling, but you're not smiling when you look in the mirror. So and be positive, stand firm, be confident in everything that you say. Strategy number 3, marketing. So, understand the marketing aspects of your business will boost your communication skills. Most marketing talents are knowing what to say and how to say it. The rest of it is just visual perception. The funny thing about marketing is that you must look at each time you speak with someone, you're marketing yourself. Marketing isn't just a business card or an online ad, it's you and your business. The key to marketing is understanding what the benefits are. Number four, strategy knowledge. So, understanding your service niche. You should understand the foundation of each strategy, function, target market, and the process. Although this isn't the main point, it is important to drive confidence with the prospect. When you become so absorbed into the strategy you're working, you'll be able to answer questions at the speed of light. You'll also know how to maneuver through the conversation, change strategies, and be able to change gears very quickly. Just a couple of key points here: study, 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 fail, 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 teach it, teach it, teach it. Unfortunately, there's no magic pill for this, but one piece of advice is to always answer the why about it. The one thing that I've learned when teaching someone, either in person or in a video, is to explain the whys without ever saying, "This is why." When a seller understands why they should do something, they're more likely to do it. And that's the whole point. Strategy number five, stop the fear of phone calls. And this isn't just about phone calls, it's simply communicating with others. And after years of personal coaching with students, here are the top four fears they had. Fear of rejection. Look, nobody wants to be rejected, but it's going to happen. I can tell you, I've heard a lot more no's than I've ever had yeses. Fear of lack of knowledge. This one's pretty big because the more we learn, the more we realize that we don't know anything. This is a sign of intelligence, but at some point, you have to take action. You have to go before you're ready. Fear of messing up. Guess what? You will. But it's how you respond, get back on your feet, and what you learned from those failures that's going to make you grow and get better. Heck, I messed up everything in the beginning. I didn't have a YouTube video like this one to teach me how to do it the right way. And if you're learning something valuable, please smash that like button. It really helps me out. Fear of making money. I know this may sound crazy, but it's true. You see, if I said, hey, how would you like to make an extra $100? You'd say, sure, Chris. What do you want me to do? Or if I said, how would you like to make an extra $200,000? You'd say, no, that's not me. That's my brother-in-law. He just got out of jail. He's on that crack cocaine stuff. You see, I think most people believe that there are some people making a lot of money, but not them. We've been taught since school to get a job and get into the rat race. I mean, I did it. And back in the day, I said, man, if I could just make $100,000 a year, I'd be rich. Well, $100,000 doesn't get you very far in today's world, especially if you have a family. My point is that there is no dollar amount you should set a bar or dollar amount you think you should make. You should just follow the process and let the end result take care of itself. Let me give you some techniques here. The number one thing is attitude. I want you to go in with, I'm going to get this deal. I'm going to get this under contract. I want you to have that confidence about you when you get to the property. The numbers approach, a lot of people, when they see numbers on paper, it really does make a big difference. So maybe you bring that special report, you have some numbers on paper just to give the seller an idea of what's going on. Not necessarily specific numbers for that particular property. You could just have a general example. Never bid against yourself. You got to wait for the counter offer. I see some people, it's like, well, maybe we could go a little bit higher. I want to make sure that we get the deal. So just wait for that counter offer. You may be shocked. Overcoming objections, right? People may ask you questions. Is it the fear of loss or the desire for gain, right? And I think when you come in with that desire for gain and you're going to create a win-win solution for you and the owner, that confidence right there is really going to help push forward. And it's going to eliminate a lot of objections, as we call it. When you start to go and you educate, you have confidence, you're kind of that fearless person that goes in and you give them, just a wealth of knowledge on how you can buy a property and what you can do for them. A lot of these objection questions that, people come up with, it's like, well, that really doesn't always happen. It's very rare to actually see those questions. Now, when I got started, that's what everybody asked me. And I think the more that I learned about this business, the strategy, it really not only built confidence for me, I really think that helped me with sellers and these objections. Is that the best you can do? I always love saying this after a seller gives me a price. You'll be shocked after you say this how much the seller will go down. And of course, you have to say it nice, right? You just can't just, be cocky and all that, but be confident. And I think that's the point. I want you to think if you don't get the contract today, then someone else will tomorrow. So I want you to just kind of have that look, I need to focus in, get down to business here. I just want you to think in your mind all the time if you don't get the contract today, then someone else will tomorrow. I love this quote, by Thomas Edison. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. I see a lot of people in this particular part of the business where they do give up. They don't feel they have the skill set to maybe communicate. Constant questions, they don't have enough knowledge. It's one thing or another and they tend to give up. You have to keep going through the process. One thing I like to point out here is cash or terms. And those of you that follow me, I talk a lot about this, but this is really important on how you sometimes intro the conversations. I want you to start with finding out the lowest cash price they'll accept, then open with the terms. I think this was a struggle for me when I got started was, especially with a lease option is, should I just give them a lease option offer? This is somebody that wants to sell a house. They probably don't even know what a lease option is. And here I'm presenting that particular offer to them. And I've learned over time that unless they've just blatantly told me they're open to do it, I really want to find that cash price first and then introduce this terms part of it. So how much down, how much a month, and how long can I do it for? And that's what we call terms. So your goal is to determine what they're open to do. Now, why not offer both, right? So I know a lot of times I think people get into real estate. It's like, no, you just buy it with cash. Well, yeah, that's what most people do, right? They pay the seller in one lump sum, not necessarily dollar bills. They get a loan, hard money loan, private loan, but they're paying the seller in one lump sum. But why not offer them the terms at the exact same time? You'd be surprised how many times if you put it on paper, and the one thing I love about terms is I can always pay more on the sales price. So if I have a seller that, is really looking for, as much as they can on the price, it's definitely going to be higher than my cash offer. And that's kind of the beauty of mixing these two up. So when you make multiple offers, I want you to educate them. Just put it on paper. Even if they say no in the beginning, a lot of times I'll just make the multiple offer and just say, hey, look, I understand that you didn't want to take this type of offer. I just thought I'd put it on paper. I just want you to see it. And then let them decide which is best. I put together a video on lease options and how to control real estate with little to no money. You should go check that out. And if you learned something in this video, please smash that like button and subscribe and click the notification bell. And I'll see you on the next training.